You feel about celebrities being on the judge panel, people that don't tattoo?
I just kind of want to go around and see if, there's anything that I can learn from anybody.
We want to do nothing but grow and just keep, have fun with everything that we're doing. It's like, that's what I want to be a part of.
If you guys want to see the fucking old school tattoo,
Trata que tener una persona al lado que en verdad lo apoya a uno también y que quiera salir con
I
madre.
never had to build mine, I never had to fucking build my own needles and shit. I feel like you went through that old school process.
Esa parte es viendo yo, pero estoy solo, marica.
Hey, welcome to Select Tattoo Live. I'm here with Siani.
What's going on?
And I got Danny.
Hey.
Yeah, special guest today. She's joining us for this podcast. We're having a good time. We've been talking about conventions. And this is episode 6. We've been traveling around. I've been to a few conventions. Siani, you say you've been to one, huh?
I've only been to one, yeah.
Yeah?
So
There's some wild stuff that goes on. And how many have you been to?
Oh, I've been to one as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which one did you go to?
We went to the Villain Arts one last year, the one in Fort Worth.
How was that?
It was good because I had set an appointment. So when we went, it was kind of slow. There wasn't really a whole lot going on, but I assume it was just because it was the first day. But it was a cool experience firsthand. You get to kind of meet new artists. You get to kind of see how everybody does their shit, and you get to see who's competing. And, it's cool.
They have some cool prizes sometimes. Like they go there and travel. For those who don't know, conventions are tattoo artists from all over the country, outside of the country, meet together, they tattoo. You get a chance to meet your favorite tattoo artist. And there's some shows, freak shows, crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's the right word to call it, freak show, yeah?
I think that's a good way to describe it.
Attractions.
The community, maybe, which one you want to
use
that term for.
So there's body modification. I mean, you have suspension shows. That's just crazy stuff. I've been to a few of them. The one in Miami was crazy. There was one called Tattoo Palooza. It's in Miami, and man, they had everything. They had like chicks walking around in body paint, and they had a petting zoo. They had a midget walking around, or not midget. I don't know if that's the wrong. They had a little person.
Little person
for all those people. Ain't trying to, But they had a person walking around dressed up as a clown, and you could staple $1 to him, and you could staple $1. You could staple $1 to his body, but a $5 bill to the head.
Like actually to the skin?
Yes. Step right there to
God.
him. Crazy.
It was like that shit. It was like, oh, it's my birthday. Give me $1. Like, staple $1 to the shirt.
Yeah. It was crazy, man. Yeah, it was wild. They had pet and zoo. They had like albino snakes and lion cubs and a leopard, big cage. It was wild, man. They did a freak show in the like middle part of it. It gave everybody like a break. And we could all go to like the center of the convention center. Yeah. And they would do like, suspension shows. It had there's a puzzle guy, there's a lizard guy. I don't know if you've seen him before.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No?
I mean, so we did the same convention as, the Villain Arts in Fort Worth. We didn't really, there was none of that there. Other than like the usual, I guess, like suspension, like by the hooks and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like there was a show with that, but there's no petting zoo. There was no dude walking around, staple a $5 bill to his head. But I mean, it was cool. I'm very fresh and new to the industry, only 4 years in. So there's so much for me to learn and to see. So you kind of, for me personally, I kind of had like high expectations for a convention. It seemed like, like one of those things where you said like, so many badass artists from all around the world can come together, this community. And it was a good first impression, I would say. There's some things you see, it was like, okay, like here's what are real expectations to see. And then here's some things where, all right, this isn't exactly the place that maybe you'll see all that, what super all-star type shit that you might think. Good first experience, being new to the industry. But then it's like, okay, definitely learn like what to do, who to talk to, how to present yourself.
Who to take advice from.
Yeah, like, so it's just like you're there to sell yourself and, also just meet so many artists from around the world and the country. So it's like, mainly it's just a learning experience from that point, at least from me.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. If you go to like New York, because we got New York coming up, that's a convention that we'll be going to.
Oh, and then, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm so excited.
It's crazy. Me too. And then there's one in LA. There's a big one in LA that's coming up too. Man, those shows, man, they've been around for a while, so they really know how to put on a good show.
Yeah. Those are the ones where it's like that is where really the expectation. I see where like I'm badass artists. I feel like you just got nothing but A-list artists there. just being part of this crew here at Select, like I would have never gotten this opportunity, honestly. Like just being solo by myself or even at the other shops I was at, they weren't trying to, they didn't have that type of connect. They didn't have that type of pull to even really, present themselves and even try to go for something like that. So it's,
Well, you have to have the mentality that you want to grow, and a
I
lot of the
mean,
shops around here don't really
100%.
focus on that.
100%. And just being part of a team and a crew that's just like, like we want to do nothing but grow and just keep, have fun with everything that we're doing. It's like, that's what I want to be a part of. So, being here and seeing you guys doing that and just having the doors open, I'm like, I can't not, turn that opportunity down.
Oh yeah, man. And this is our 3rd year. So
Shit.
man, imagine what's gonna happen in 5,
Yeah.
even 10 years maybe, It's like it's gonna be crazy.
Man.
And we all do all different things too. So when we go to these conventions, man, we could take on everything. If there's an anime thing, we can take that. If there's a realism thing, we could take that.
Yeah.
Color, black and gray. Everybody does something different. So it's gonna be cool. If we can all go one time, because we got different schedules, different things we want to do. So but man, if we can all go to a convention and just take over, that'd be crazy.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Man.
I just want to go there and just stand out, not to, not like, a rock star mentality, just be like, hey, like, this is us, you recognize the name, but, we're here to have fun, and just create art, just respect everybody, learn from other artists, meet other artists, connect, and just have fun, man, at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's super cool to go and go to these conventions because I've never traveled. I've never left the country. But when I do go somewhere in the States, it's probably for a convention, So that's like cool. It's like no other job. You can go and have a little vacation, earn some money, stay there, and let that be your vacation for the year. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And not feel like you broke the bank.
Yeah. Because you make everything back. Hopefully you make everything back when you travel like that. Like we do that a lot. And I mean, every single time we've done vacation, we've done work, we've made our money back from our vacation, from working, and we just have a good time, meet a lot of cool new people. And, so it's a great opportunity because this is one of the very few jobs where you can go anywhere. It's your skill set that you have. And you can take that and you can go anywhere in the world that you want, meet a lot of people, just have a good time, get that experience, get that travel. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. Those people that go around and they go skateboarding and biking and all that, I'm scared to death. Can you imagine breaking your hand and you can't tattoo?
Dude, I'm saying.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I couldn't, man.
I can't risk it, man. I can't risk it. I want to do that stuff, but man, I just think about it sometimes. What would have happened if I can't use my hand?
What would you do,
That's crazy you brought that up, actually. So, a few months ago, I tried to skateboard again. Knew I shouldn't have, but I almost messed my ankle up a little bit. And I was like, man, at least my ankle and not my hand. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like I could have been out of commission for a little bit already. And me and Danny, we have a friend. Like he's been in a situation too. He's had accidents, and yeah, he's had to take a break. But hopefully, thankfully, he's good now. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's like it can be taken away so easily. And you never think about it. It's like if it's your hands, if it's your eyesight, anything, so it's something that you really have to be careful for.
Definitely. That's why I stopped skating. I mean, when I started and I had my wrist guards and my elbow pads, everyone was like, that's fucking gay. I'm like, no, dude. It was like, I'm trying to protect my career right now. Like, you don't understand. But eventually I kind of started stopping skating because I was too scared. I was like, well, these are my money makers.
Yeah.
If I break the left one, then I break my stretching hand, then that's going to be really hard. If I break the right one, then I'm going to have to learn to tattoo with my left.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's not a good look if you use your foot. You put your foot up and you try to stretch with your foot, your toes.
dude, I'm saying.
They're out there, man.
I've seen those videos. It's
Are
crazy.
they for real?
Yeah, I've seen an artist. He's got no arms. He's got nothing but just legs and feet, man. Yeah. It is what it is.
I've seen him set up his machine with his feet. He's over here I'm like, what are you doing?
I believe that's cool, but you walk all day on those. I can't trust how clean that is.
I've seen somebody make a peanut butter and jelly with no arms.
See, that's talent. I don't have that type of talent, so I would much respect. I can't do it unless I have to if I lost my arms. But God damn it, no!
Don't make me a sandwich. I don't want. I'm good.
You don't need another grown man making you a sandwich. That's
true. That sounds like prison a little bit. Like what? You know what I mean? When would that happen? You got a homeboy that has no arms. You gonna pick him to make the sandwiches?
Nah.
Come on, man. Can't do that.
I'll just struggle it out, do it myself.
But no, where would you guys go? I mean, there's so many conventions. The ones that I've seen, there's some in a lot in Germany, Spain.
I saw one in Italy recently. I
Yeah.
want to go to that one.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called, but I saw.
Milan, yeah.
Yeah, that one. So,
Yeah. Man, there's like incredible artists over there, and it's so cool too when you get to travel. You get to see all these areas. Not, I mean, state-wise too, but for the most part, like when you go to Europe and stuff, man, you see stuff that you would never see in the States.
That's
Yeah.
true.
All these styles and stuff, they're so creative. I mean, we're creative too, but man, they're like really on their art stuff over there.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think they're just inspired by the people that are over there versus, who we're inspired by in the States. It's just so different because there's so many artists out there that have such a different perspective on what art is that, we just got back from Europe not too long ago.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so, he was already checking out tattoo shops while we were out there. And so we
Gotcha.
look at their portfolio and their shit's fucking ridiculous. It's like shit you wouldn't even think to see in the States because they're inspired by like Leonardo da Vinci and all these other artists out there. And it's really, it's different.
Yeah,
So,
we forget sometimes America is new. You know,
Yeah, it really
everyone
is.
else is building on like crazy history.
Yep.
I mean, architecture, everything. You know,
Yeah, I think that might be because I guess internationally, like tattooing is, I guess from what I know, it's a little bit newer than like American history tattooing. But
that's different too.
man, the amount of time that they've had, they just like soared, man. Like the amount of art and the creativity, the talent is like they catch up with like no problem, and that might come from the lifestyle. Honestly, because again, like Danny said, we were just out there not too long ago. The lifestyle in America is completely different. So just the way people's mentality,
like how? Like, where did you guys go again?
Well, we went to a few different countries. We did go to Italy, Spain, Portugal, and then
France.
one little stop in France. But just overall, like just European lifestyle to American lifestyle, it just seems like it could be a lot of controversy behind it, but
There's a lot
of but there's the sign of respect. Like you see people like how they respect each other, just the way that even just going to a restaurant, the way that people serve you, the way that people talk to you, and just the way you see people just carry themselves. It's completely different.
Everyone looks a lot healthier too. I'm not gonna lie.
For real?
Yeah.
People way healthier, man.
That's crazy.
And you can taste it. You can taste it in the food. Like it's completely different. It's just something like this actually tastes real. Like you don't feel like shit after you eat it.
Yeah.
So you come back here and you can taste the difference and everything. You can see it. And everything.
Did you see a lot of like was it just as many tattooed people walking around?
Like as in people just having tattoos?
Yeah, like when you walk the streets now, it's pretty uncommon to see someone completely like without tattoos.
It was actually kind of hard to tell because a lot of the people that we saw dressed very modest and they hid a lot of their skin. So
Yeah,
and it was cold too. So I mean that was probably why. But yeah, we didn't really get to see a whole lot of that. I feel like.
Yeah. No, I didn't really. I mean, you see some people, but yeah, as in like just heavily, have a whole suit or something. Yeah, people did dress very modest. So.
Very fancy and very modest. Like they looked like they were like wearing designer clothes all the time. It's
I need
crazy.
to get out of the country because I don't know if that would shock me so much. Like
Yeah.
to meet people that are from other countries and like their whole mentality is different. When you said that, I was like, a person is a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What do you mean they're different? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I was watching this video and there was this guy in Japan that was completely covered, and we're so used to it, and we've been doing this for a while, so we probably don't even see people's tattoos, you know. But man, this guy was in Japan fully covered, and like people were gawking, like,
Oh yeah, because they
What?
think you're part of a gang. They think that you're part of the Yakuza. Like they don't know. There's a lot of controversy with that still in Japan. Like, yeah, they have traditional tabori out there, but they segregate you. From what I've heard, they segregate you based on whether you have tattoos or not. And so like if you're going to go to like a hot spring or whatever it is, you go in there and if they see you have tattoos, they put you in a separate area or they don't service you at all.
whoa.
Yeah, that's at least what I've learned. It's really, really interesting because they're just so concerned that you're part of the Yakuza. They don't want anything to do with that.
It's like that old stigma with even American tattoos. They'd be like, oh, you must, the whole biker gang, all type of shit.
Yeah, it's definitely different everywhere you go. I mean, if we go to Japan, we're either going to have to cover our tattoos because they'll put us in the back of a restaurant or, we're just going to have to embrace it.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah. So these conventions that we go to, there's a lot of there's a lot of competition, you know. So we'll go there and it'll be in fun, but it's a lot is on the line. I mean, that could turn into opportunities, whatever. But they have these people that are judging the tattoos, you know, and they might be in the most of the time, the people that's been in the industry for a long time, whether they're tattooers, but sometimes they're celebrities, you know. How do you feel about celebrities being on the judge panel? People that don't tattoo.
Oh, I mean, I feel like if you don't have any skin in the game, I feel like even if you have tattoos, you still kind of don't know what the artist is actually going through. I feel like it's more appropriate and less biased if you have people that tattoo as well, you know.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ink Masters. So, you know, you see like, you know, they get like a football player or somebody on the judge. And it's like, well, you don't necessarily have, you know, the exact knowledge probably for the tattoos. You might not know exactly what to look for when it comes to, you know, these big tattoos. Like, do you know to look for saturation? Do you know to look for clean, smooth lines? You know, do you know how to look for blowouts? So if you don't really have too much of your foot in the, you know, in the door of the industry, so it's like, how can you really judge it appropriately, like a tattoo artist?
What are they basing it on? Like when they look at it, what are they looking for? Are they looking for something that's super bright? Right. You know?
It could just be just the whole idea of the design.
Because that'd be super unfair if you had best of day and you got a guy that's judging and doesn't tattoo and he sees a black and gray tattoo and it's amazing. And then there's one that's super bright and colorful, so he picks that one. Right. You know?
Just picks it based on just as colorful.
Yeah.
But you're not,
that's probably just wasn't preference at that point.
Yeah, it's like it could not be executed as well as that black and gray. Yeah. Like that black and gray might be smooth as hell. Like you've never seen something so smooth like that. And again, perfect clean lines. You know, that black is solid just in there, like no splotchiness, you know. You don't know what to look for.
I think that's why they break it up into categories too, because they have so many different ones. Like I don't even know all the categories at this point. Like they have their black and gray, they have color realism, they have traditional, they have, you know, they have everything for every category, I feel like. But to lump them together, that's, you know, I feel like, I don't know if they do that at conventions, if you have an experience with that.
Yeah, they have the best of day.
So there's like so that's just everything, right?
Yeah, all the tattoos are in one pot and best of days. Like what was the best one of the day?
Damn, that's hard to pick.
Yeah, and you can enter it in multiple ones, you know. So you can do the color and win the color one, and you can win the best of the day, you know.
So do you have to start that tattoo at the convention and
supposed to, but that doesn't know what's happened. But
that's what I was figuring, because I've seen a lot of that where they get best of day and it's like a whole like panel on the thigh, and I'm like, damn, you did that. There's no way you did that in one day.
Exactly.
You know? Like,
yep. Some of them slide by. Yeah.
Well, I figure sometimes too, it's already healed work. Like if you have a client that you've already done a whole leg sleeve and be like, hey, can you come in and we can enter that into the contest?
Yeah, they do that too. Yeah.
Or just be like, you already started it. You know, it's only going to take us, you know, one day to go ahead and finish that. Then we can enter it in.
Yeah. So. What do you think about the flip side of that? Someone that's like super experienced, been in the industry for 20 years, and he's only done traditional. He doesn't do anything else. Do you think he'll be biased towards traditional, you know?
That's hard to say.
Is it possible to have like non-biased anything, you know?
At this point, no, because, you know, if you think about it, you're talking about the people that are judging, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like with the people that are judging, they know a lot of the artists because they've been doing this for so long that they've built the connections with certain people through networking that I feel like it kind of concerns me that when you're entering the competitions and everything that, you know, oh, I know you, so I'm going to vote for you kind of thing. It might not even be about the art sometimes. Granted, I don't know because we don't get to see, you know, behind the scenes or anything, but that's kind of what concerns me about going to these conventions.
Right. Like it could be based on favoritism.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point.
And that's not fair to the people that are entering that they don't know, you know, because there's plenty of talent out there. Shouldn't be about, you know, who you know as an artist that's competing. It's about, you know, just the art.
In a perfect world.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, it's like that anywhere you go, even outside of tattooing. There's going to be favoritism and who do you know, it's all about who you know.
Well, that was also the controversy behind the latest season of Ink Master is like who they picked the winner. It's because one of the judges was like basically picking favorites on one of the artists when they were all well qualified. So I'm concerned about that for conventions, depending on which convention it is, who hosts the conventions and all that. But it's really hard to speak on every single convention because I don't think that, well, I'm being, you know, optimistic, but I'm hoping that it's not like that at every single convention.
Yeah.
You know?
The ones that been around for a while, they usually have their stuff together, you know? But the ones, man, A lot of the ones that I've been to is so I'm from Georgia, so South Georgia. So I would kind of bounce around. I'd go to Tennessee, Jacksonville, Florida. I'd go to Miami. I'd go to South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. Like stay in that area, you know. And the ones that I would go to that were in like Atlanta or Miami couldn't even compare to South Carolina. It was just like, God, man, like none of it was together, you know? Like the even the banner was just like, dude, you just put tattoo convention, you know? And everyone else had all this cool art and cool prizes if you win. But man, if you won over there, it's like a little T-ball trophy, you know?
Are you talking about on the like North Carolina and all those? Or are
Yeah,
you
like
talking about
South Carolina, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just the ones that I've seen, the ones that I've been to were just like not impressive at all.
Right.
That's really interesting.
He's like, they didn't really put too much into it.
Yeah, if you win the whole thing, you win every category. You get nothing. You don't get in a magazine. You don't get publicity. They got a Facebook page for the convention. It's not even like it ain't really a good opportunity to go and put your name out there. Nobody's ever going to see or hear about it. You know?
I wonder why that is, because we've done some guest spots out there, North Carolina, Virginia. We're working on the rest of it, but it was really interesting because our experience was like the complete opposite, doing guest spots versus conventions.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because I mean, every time that we go out there, we have a good time, and you know, there's a lot of work to be had out there.
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of money out there as well. So it's like people want to spend good money on good tattoos. And they'll pay the price, and I mean it's constantly busy. I've gone out to Virginia a few times, you know, even during slow season, and I've been busy and I've made a profit just because, you know, there's work to be made. Everything's regulated out there. The health department is on top of their stuff every single time. So it's really interesting to hear that they don't really, their conventions aren't really together, like put together. I feel like there's a market for it out there, and I think that it should be taken full advantage of. You know?
Oh yeah. I think we're behind over in that area. I think they've been tattooing for so long in California and Texas. They got a whole long line of history. But man, in South Carolina and some parts of Georgia, those rural areas, man, they haven't been tattooing that long. And I mean, the society, that area, they don't really like heavily tattooed people. It's usually like bikers and, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, like, you know, you get back what you put in. So even though it might be, you know, fairly new, is like how much are you trying to push it?
Yeah.
So I feel like same thing for, like, you know, international artists. Haven't been probably tattooing as long as American artists, but it's like you see like how fast and how progressive it's become. So it's just like the art is almost out, you know, you don't really see some of that in America.
Yeah.
So many talented American artists. But then it's like you look at some artists out of, you know, Russia and Italy. It's like, damn.
God, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like they haven't even been doing it as long. So it's like, you know, they're putting in everything that they can.
Yeah.
So
it's cool. Those conventions that go on in those small towns, like introduce tattoos to that area. So it's almost like it's like a way to get them in the boat, you know?
yeah.
If you didn't have those conventions, like those tattoo shops would only tattoo already tattooed people. But now that you got those conventions, and gives those people something to do, and they see that everybody's kind of gathering and doing that, because people in that area are not used to spending that kind of money either. I mean, when you go to these conventions, you got to pay overhead and travel and all this stuff. So the prices are pretty high, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think people maybe charge too much to take advantage, or what?
That's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a possibility. I can't speak on that because I don't know what all it takes to, you know, set some up that big. I don't know if I don't think it really take advantage. I mean, because you have to put something together, and again, it's like you're gonna get back what you put in. So you can go ahead and put in, you know, whatever little amount of money, but you don't expect so much get back. So it's like you want to, you know, like New York, Empire State, or even Golden State, like such world-renowned known conventions. And it's like because they put in the effort, they put in so much time and money into what they're doing so that they can have a good time, the audience and the clients have a good time, as well as the artists can have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like it's worth it. It makes it worthwhile. You know, I feel like it's treated like if you're having a tattoo shop. You know, your artists are going to be appreciated if you're putting in the right amount of work and, you know, the effort to your artists.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I also have a different perspective because, I mean, the way that I see it, you know, there are conventions out there that are really small, and then there's conventions out there that are really big and well known. And I feel like this might sound really messed up, but like the one that we're going to in New York, that's a big convention. At least in my perspective, that's a big convention.
Mm-hmm.
But the prices, that they charge for the booth rent and all that, I feel like it weeds out a lot of kitchen wizards, man. Like,
You're right.
it makes it so much easier.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because now, the people that are going to spend the money, they're taking this shit seriously.
Yeah.
And it's not just people with, God complexes. I mean, sure, there's going to be some really amazing artists out there that have the rock star mentality. That's fine. But, these scratchers and these kitchen wizards, whatever you want to call them, that's just what I like to call them.
That's a good one.
I love kitchen wizards. I'm like, but I think that it weeds out a lot of the bullshit. And I feel like it allows us to focus more on the art and get better and grow and get to know the people that you want to surround yourself with, not just people that are going to waste your time. Because, you were supposed to go down to the convention in Houston, but we met a lot of tattoo artists at the hotel. Some of them kind of seemed, a little off.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, everyone's different for sure. But that was one of like the lower end conventions. I don't know if that was.
Well, that was a villain arts convention.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm gonna get canceled for that for sure. But
editing is the
true. But I mean, I noticed like the people that we were talking to didn't really have like the collaboration mentality. They had the competition mentality.
Yes, definitely.
You want to collaborate. I mean, that's super important. If you're not willing to work with people, then how are you going to grow?
Yeah. And a lot of times those people have never even been around a person that kind of influenced them to change their mind about that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are hard-headed. They probably wouldn't learn even if they were. But sometimes you can be stuck in an environment to where it has to be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone does walk in. So every time something walks in, they're like, just trying to fight over who's going to do it, Yeah. And it can turn into some heated moments, I mean, this is money, this is our livelihood. So, but if you get into a shop that's like well established and everyone's cool, everyone's on the same thing, trying to get better, humble, man, you can do some crazy stuff with this,
Yeah, it's crazy how fast you can grow depending on the environment that you're in, or how stagnant you can stay, depending on where you are. It's really crazy to see because, you have people that have only been tattooing for, a small amount of years, but it's where they are and what they do with it that allows them to either grow or become like the artists that are around.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I agree with what you said. Like the money they're putting in, how expensive it might be. It's possible it's a way of just weeding out, certain people and just actually getting and gathering together the artists that you want to be part of this community.
I didn't think about that because I was thinking the same thing the other day. I was like, man, this industry is going to be so saturated.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's like you can't. Back in the day, man, you could really have a season. You knew what the year was going to be like. And it was like you can save up, you could do this in this month. But man, if there's a tattoo shop on every corner.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I mean, some people that I know that aren't that good would have to have a second job, you know?
Yeah.
They don't really specialize in anything. They can do a tattoo, but not great,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that out here because, tattooing isn't heavily regulated out here. I've been tattooing for 2 years. I've been around tattoo shops for like 3-4 years, maybe close to that, something like that. And I've never seen the health department come in. Not once. The only time I've ever seen the health department come in is when we were doing guest spots and they came in to interview Siani and ask him all those ridiculous ass questions. True. Yeah, I've never seen the health department.
That was the only time. And just to make sure that I knew the proper knowledge for that state regulation
to get
my temporary my permit to work.
Gotcha.
That was crazy. Because, I mean, out here, you just need your bloodborne pathogen. That's $10 online. And then the shop that you're in just has to have licensing. That's it, And, I mean, yeah, the health department does visit, but it's not often.
Yeah. You'll see that when you go to these conventions. You have to get familiar. Like when we go to California, you have to take a course of bloodborne pathogens, CPR. You might have to take some stuff that's completely different from another state.
Yeah.
And it costs you money too.
Yeah.
When you have to take these courses. So
your permits.
Yeah, I know in California, like they're strict on their regulations for tattooers. Went out there a couple years ago to guest spot and learned something about that with that law, whereas you have not, the establishment has to be licensed, you have to be licensed as the artist, and it can only be per shop. So, even if you worked at this shop and you wanted to switch over to the shop right across the street, you would have to get a whole new permit just to work over there.
Yeah.
So I respect that. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I like that. I like it when it's regulated like that. It lets you know, it's weeding out some people too again.
Yeah, I think that might actually play into the factor of, what I said earlier about the East Coast being pretty good. When we've guest spotted, we've had a good time because there's money to be made, there's clients out there, but it's probably because it's so heavily regulated that there are not tattoo shops on every corner like how it is out here.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it offers an interesting perspective for sure.
Cool, yeah. A lot of things that happen at the convention is not even tattoo related. You would think that like I've seen a rockabilly concert. You know what rockabilly is?
I've heard of it.
There's so much like subcultures in tattooing. It's crazy. And you get to learn a lot about that when you go to these conventions. Like a lot of the hot rod stuff in California, bikes, they'll have tricked out bikes, chrome bikes,
Yeah, see,
lowriders.
that's just dope.
Man, it's super, super cool. Yeah, we didn't have any of that in Georgia, man. Like, I think Texas has like a crazy amount of culture. They got Mexican, and then they got a whole bunch of stuff. You can go on and on. California's a ton. New York's a ton. Georgia, I don't know what our thing is. Food, butter, something like that.
I don't know, man. You gotta tell us.
Yeah.
I know. I'm supposed to know, right? Yeah.
I guess what do you expect that we're gonna see from New York?
Man, you're probably going to see a bunch of extreme stuff. Body modification for sure.
Yeah.
We didn't have any of that in Georgia. No body modification at all. The only time that we would see it would be when the conventions would come in.
Yeah.
And then you see that on the show, But walking around, no. But in New York, man, there's such a following for that stuff. And a lot of these places that we go, these like major cities, LA and stuff like that, you can get that stuff done, if not there, close by.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's way more of it, That, I guess the cost of living is way higher, so.
Oh, it definitely is. As somebody
you're going to spend some money.
Yeah. As someone that I lived in New York for 4 years, yeah, it's.
Oh, you lived in New York?
Yeah, the cost of living is high. And this was back 2012 to 2016. So I can't imagine what the prices look like now.
Dude, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I can imagine, man. Like, what do they have to do to make that rent?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I was just working at restaurants and I was basically living paycheck to paycheck. So, and just paying like just for a bedroom. I never had a place out there where I didn't have roommates.
For real?
Yeah. Like it's hard to try to have a place of your own and pay for that rent. It's crazy.
That's wild. I can't even imagine. Like, you can't buy a house. There's no,
Not unless you go more
I'm thinking about
upstate, like out of state, like Manhattan. Like Manhattan is really just a bunch of apartments and condos. Like you have to go much higher up north. Or if you go to like Jersey or something, Queens maybe.
But then you got to travel. Then you got to drive in that crazy traffic,
I mean, that's New York, man. You got to travel it. When we go to New York, like you're going to be on that subway, or I'd recommend the subway. Like taxis and Ubers and stuff like that. It's too caught up, in my opinion. Super saturated, congested. I mean, subway's the same, but for me, it always seemed like the fastest form of travel.
Man, I've never been around any of that, so I don't know.
It's going to be a new experience for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. You guys are going to see LA and New York.
Yeah. Well, we've been to LA before. Yeah. That was an all right experience.
Yeah? How was that?
Well,
all right.
the guest spotting was a bit of a bust. The traffic was really terrible, but the weather was okay. That's all I could say about it.
She's being politically correct right now. Yeah, she don't want to hurt no feelings, huh?
I'm straight up saying.
I fucking suck.
Traffic was ass.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's that bad,
It didn't matter what time. You wouldn't know when it would hit. It would just be bad.
So. Well, it took me, let's say, perspective-wise, I was taking my dog. He was guest spotting for the day, and we had the dog with us. And I took the dog to the dog beach. It took us an hour to get out there. It took us 3 hours to get back. And she was still a puppy. She couldn't hold it. She peed in the car, man. Oh. It was that bad. That's what put a bad taste in my mouth. I was like, fuck. I was trying to stop, too. Just like, damn, this fucking traffic.
I hear some crazy stuff. I hear San Francisco. I've never been to Cali, but I hear San Francisco is nuts. Like, they don't want you to go there. I hear some bad stuff. I'm not talking about it because I've never been, but I hear some crazy stories.
Shit? Like,
I mean, like, man, just crazy characters, like crime, crazy. Like,
yeah, that's everywhere.
Stuff that we've never seen, like way more than here. Yeah. Well, it could be pretty bad in Dallas. I mean, there's some pretty rough areas in Dallas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna have some type of crime everywhere. So it's depending on what areas to go and what areas not to go, type of thing. So
that's true.
getting too far off the conventions.
I guess I have a question. Because I've heard many different things about, conventions and booking them and being an artist there. I've been given advice to not book, appointments and just take like walk-ups or whatever. What would you say would be the best thing to do?
Oh man, I would definitely say try to book if you can. I mean, that way you know that they're gonna be there.
Yeah.
And I mean, anything could happen. They could cancel on you.
True. Yeah.
So I mean, you still have that in your back pocket to have someone walk in and get tattooed then and there. But man, to know that your trip is paid for, no stress, everything's good.
That's a good point too. And I mean, we talked about this the other day, but I feel like the booking regulations are a little bit different. So, for me booking this, booth and then booking the appointments, I wanted to take higher deposits as higher collateral because, I need to know that you're going to show up, so if you want to pay the price, then, you're going to have to pay the price.
That's super smart. Super smart.
I think that's a smart move.
Yes.
I mean, if we're, it's not local, if we're going out of state. So, I got to be able to cover myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know how other artists do it. This would be my first out-of-state convention, but I feel like that's a smart move to take a higher deposit just to kind of,
the baseline is not enough,
Yeah.
like I feel like, for example, like a lot of people take $100 deposits. That's pretty standard. But I feel like if you're going to travel all the way, to New York, for example, charging someone $100 deposit, that's not going to mean shit to them. You want to charge higher so they're like, okay, I've got some money in this. I really need to figure out a way to
you got to show that you're serious.
Yeah.
Because we got plenty of people enough here at home that, you get a no-show on $100 or $200 deposit. So it's like, how do I know that? At least give me a little bit more of a guarantee that you're going to show up. Even if you don't, at least I still got something to, kind of get back on from my trip taking all the way up here.
And I mean, what's the harm in that too? I mean, they're not paying anything extra. They're just putting more down. You know what I mean?
It's still going to go towards your tattoo.
it's the same
It's a good
thing.
investment, It's like, you have X amount of month to save up for the remainder of what you haven't paid yet. So
True.
It's a good way to budget.
Yeah. I'm excited for all this year's conventions.
It's gonna be fun, man.
Because which ones are we doing? So we got New York,
California. There's a few going on around here in Dallas.
Oh yeah,
Got
I think it was the Dallas Tattoo Festival. They just made their post for us here in Irving.
We might do the one in Austin too.
Yeah,
There's one in
that
Austin.
would be cool. Austin's pretty nice.
Yeah,
I know some people got some certain things to say about Austin, but I guess visually, like it seems like a nice area to to be in. So I'm excited to go down just for that one too.
I did two of them in Austin. There was one that was called Star of Texas. That was pretty cool. That was good. And I forgot the name of the other one, but there's two major ones that I've been to. They were really nice.
Oh,
it's really artsy. A lot of people from out of state come for those.
Yeah,
they've been around for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I know we're doing the All Stars convention also in Miami. Did you go to that one last year?
No, I didn't go to that one.
No, because I know this is only going to be their second year. Like they're really new.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they just started last year. I know a couple of guys here went, but apparently it was good. Like whatever they did, like they really did a lot of promoting, and I guess they got a lot of really well known artists and just had a good time. So that's something nice to hear. Like as a new, very very new convention, that your first year was successful, and like you want all these other artists still want to come back. So they got a lot to look forward to.
The dude that runs it, man, he's been in the tattoo industry for forever. I remember he was in magazines like way back. So he's super familiar with conventions and how they should be ran and all that. And one really, really cool thing is when you win these competitions, at the end of the day, you submit your tattoos in there, and when you win the trophy, most of the time, if you're in a smaller convention, they give you these little, plastic trophies that aren't really that cool, or a plaque. It's like, I want something cool. Like we're in a room full of artists. You can't get one person to make something cool. Sometimes they'll give you like tattoo machines, or but that guy has a sculpture of his head
Yeah, I
on
seen
there.
it. Yeah,
It's super cool. It's
yeah.
right over here.
Couple of the guys got it. I was like, I haven't seen something like that before. That's
Now
cool.
that stuff is dope.
Like
You
that-
want that.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
that looks like something that was well thought out by a tattoo artist. Like, how can I make, instead of just like the standard, oh, here's like a gold trophy. Like, this is something that was actually
Here's a trophy
created.
from the dollar store.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or a ribbon.
Yeah, this
You
is like the-
participated. Congratulations.
I
yeah,
don't want
this
no-
is a well thought. Like, this is a creative like trophy to create, make and give out to a winning artist. Like, so it's
Yeah.
like I feel like that's much more memorable.
Should be by artists for artists.
Exactly. A room full of artists, and we got T-ball trophies.
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on.
Hey, it is what it is.
We got to do better than that.
But I'm
man.
looking forward to just seeing everything and just learning more, meeting all these artists. Even if it's like if I run into a rock star mentality artist, that is what it is. But anything that I can learn from these guys is just something I can take with me going forward. Because only 4 years in, I don't know shit.
Are you looking forward to like meeting somebody?
Not necessarily. I mean, like not like any specific person. I mean, I figured, if it's that big of a convention, I imagine I see some artists there that I've seen on Instagram and just like, Ink Masters or whatever. I know that for Empire State, John Nelson from Borrowed Time in Florida, like I know that he's been there. He goes there often. So I've been out there, guest spotted with them before. John's a really cool dude. I know him and his crew like do the skits and everything, and he plays a character. Everyone puts on a character, and he gets some backlash from people in the comments, like he's an asshole and stuff like that.
But that's just because they don't know him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I know the guy that very well either. I've only met him once.
Mm-hmm.
Works with his team for a few days, but meeting him was like that's not who he is as a person. He's a cool
It's
dude.
just a facade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's nice. So he's willing to give out. He's given us some gifts. He's like try this ink out and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
he actually was the one that, well, at least got me onto Allegory. I really like Allegory. It's like
Yeah.
best blacks I've used.
Yeah.
But
But
grateful for that.
example of that is somebody that I know that is a well-known artist to be at one of these conventions.
yeah,
So it's just and something we learned stuff from him. So it's like it's just I just want to meet anybody. It doesn't
Yeah.
even matter. I don't care if you're a big name artist or not. If I've never heard of you, if I see something that you're working on that's dope and captures my eye, I want to see what how are you
Yeah.
executing that? That's
Mhm.
something that I can learn from. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
definitely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. Are you looking forward to seeing anybody like when you're going to these conventions this year?
I'm kind of on the same page as Siani. Like, I just kind of want to meet whoever. I mean, it'd be really cool to see some familiar faces. Like he said, like I want to see John and his crew, like because I want to go back and go back to Florida and guest spot with them again. So it'd be cool to actually see them in their environment of doing all their things. But I don't really have anybody in particular. I just kind of want to go around and see if there's anything that I can learn from anybody. See how people are doing their style on people, and I'm just trying to be a sponge, man. I'm just trying to absorb as much as I can
I
from
hear you.
as many people as possible because that's the best way to grow in my opinion.
Yeah. There's a few. I got like a list.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got a list.
Who you got in mind?
Steve Moore, he's in Canada. Steve Moore is amazing, incredible. Like he does a lot of like imaginative stuff, like stuff kind of like I do, kind of like that surrealism
I
type
think
stuff.
I know who he is. It's like Moore.
Yeah,
More
exactly.
tattoos. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
incredible
Dope
stuff.
ass artist.
Like like full body.
Mhm.
It'll have like a whole thing in red, a whole thing in blue. It's incredible. Another guy's in Ohio. His name is Chad Linger,
Okay.
which is super cool because I like space a lot, and his name is Challenger, basically. But that's his real name, Chad Linger.
That's pretty dope.
Crazy. I got tattooed by him. He's super good. I learned a lot just watching him. And let's see, Henry Lewis. I want to see Henry Lewis. He does a lot of fine line stuff.
Okay.
He's in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like Steve Butcherson or
Oh
something.
no,
Like,
who's that?
I thought you. I thought you brought up his work one day. He's like crazy color realism artist.
Oh man.
I think he does more than that, but at least from what I've seen, like his color technique is immaculate.
I gotcha.
I don't use that word a lot. I had to dig deep in the vocab for that. Yeah. Super excited.
Everyone has their own thing. Like Henry Lewis, man, that Joker, he uses like the thinnest needles, but man, them things are so straight. And everything he puts on there is just like super unique. You could tell, He can just draw it from scratch with a marker, boom. And it'll be like the most technical, detailed thing you've ever seen. And then Steve Moore, I already told you about him. His ideas are just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I hope is going to be at this convention?
Who?
That really badass chick that we met at the Villain Arts convention from Australia. Do you remember her name?
Oh man, goddamn it!
From Australia?
Yeah. So it was. She was in town from Australia at the Fort Worth Villain Arts convention. Unfortunately, I did forget her name.
Didn't she
and I
win?
apologize. I'm so sorry.
sorry.
But her Instagram handle is Dreadpool.
That's okay. Yeah, that's her.
That's cool.
DREDPOL.
She won. Was it?
Yeah,
color?
I think
First in
she
color?
won like first place for color realism. She did like a dope ass like Victor Von Doom tattoo on this guy's calf.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was
it's
nice.
nuts.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff that I want to like learn and figure out how to do.
Well, I hope we get to see her again because she was really cool and really,
Yeah,
really friendly and open to like letting us take a look. And that's the one thing that I like at the conventions is the people that you meet that are like, oh yeah, come on, man, come take a look. It's like I wanna interact with those people. I don't want to interact with the people that are just kind of like, stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like it's a convention, dude. Like you
Yeah.
want to socialize and get to know people. Like,
Exactly,
you don't
yeah.
want to play keep away with your work. Like people want to see what you're working on. You should be open to letting them come up, even if it's like the worst tattoo in the world, which hopefully it's not. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know.
And being at your first convention, it can be intimidating.
Oh, I was
for
fucking
sure.
terrified. Yeah.
This is like fresh in the game, don't know what's
Yeah.
going on, don't know anybody. So it could be a little nerve wracking. But I
Yeah.
think that's one of those things that I've learned from just that one convention is that we're all people, we're all artists, we're all here trying to do the same thing basically. So it's nothing to be, nervous about. Don't
Yeah.
be scared of anybody. Walk up. If they say fuck off, then all right, well, you've already figured out who that person
Exactly.
is.
That's
Yeah.
on them.
Just keep it moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's it for today's episode. Episode 6.
Episode 6.
Select Tattoo Live. If you're new, if you've never seen any of our episodes, like and subscribe. And we're also doing a Spanish version of this episode. Different cast, so you get to see a different perspective on the same topic. Today was about conventions. So tune in next time and check us out. Again, it's Siani, Danny, Terrence, and we out.
All right.
Bye.
Appreciate you.